Well, moving week is wrapped up for Montana State football and concluded with the second scrimmage of fall camp here on Saturday. We're talking with head coach Jeff Choate about it. And coach, you saw some things in week 2 scrimmage that you didn't see in week 1. What'd you like about what you saw this week compared to last?
Well, I think defensively we responded really well. I was pleased with our secondary play. I thought that those guys were challenged because I didn't think that we had some coverage busts, we had some communication things, especially from some veteran players that we wouldn't necessarily expect that from. And I thought those guys responded exceptionally well. They competed for every ball in their zone and made a number of plays. We ended up with a couple of picks and 2 of them in the red zone. And so I was proud of the way the secondary responded. I thought our specialists played really well today. You know, I thought our guys kicked the ball well. We made all our field goal attempts, even some long ones. Punting was exceptional. And, you know, that's maybe an unsung part of the game. But, you know, getting those guys in a game environment, they don't get that opportunity very often. And so appreciate the fans coming out. And those guys got a little bit of work today. And so I thought those were 2 things that were kind of highlights in terms of the positives. And on the flip side, I felt like we lacked a little bit of rhythm on offense at times. We moved the ball really well, and you could see how explosive we can be. But we've got to be more consistent in finishing drives.
How about in the run game? It looked like the offensive line got some pretty good push at times, and there were some nice moments running the ball.
Yeah, well, I think that's you know, it's got to be our DNA, and I was very pleased with that. You know, it would have been nice to get a few more X plays, but that speaks to our secondary running the ball and getting guys on the ground. But I thought, you know, all of our running backs had some nice moments, and I think that's a credit to our offensive line and the job that they're doing up front. Really, with the ones we didn't have a lot of issues with protection and throwing the ball. Chris was able to extend some plays with his legs, and you know, had a couple uncharacteristic things. You know, Kevin, we got a drive going. He puts the ball on the ground. That's probably going to give us a chance to go down and score. We had some penalties that really put us in bad situations, and so I think this is the first time we get that yellow hanky thrown at us consistently, and you can see how that can be such a momentum killer. I mean, we had a touchdown that Chris took off on that was called back on a chop block, and so I think those are going to be great things for us to learn from on film.
This is really the conclusion of fall camp. You move into game week mode now. You get Sunday off, Monday kind of a cleanup practice, then Tuesday you get into it for real. How does it change from here moving forward as you start preparing for games versus getting reps in camp?
Well, I think what happens is you stop, you know, kind of having the young guy scrimmage stuff built in, your young gun 7-on-7. So really it's just the 1s and 2s that are getting the reps and preparing to play. And you break up into scout teams. And so that's really what we're going to start doing come Monday is really kind of teach our guys how we practice a little bit and break up into those units. And then Tuesday we'll have an opportunity to do a bonus Tuesday practice as if it was game week. And so we kind of sharpen the saw there a little bit. Tuesdays and Wednesdays are our heavy workload days. And so by going through those practices and simulating those before we get into the true game week, I think that gives us a little bit of an edge.
Fall camp winding to a close just 2 weeks away from today, the season opener at Washington State. With head coach Jeff Choate, I'm Jay Sanderson.